Commander Zeftar of the Hegemony's First Fleet gazed through the crystalline viewport of his flagship, the Sovereign's Will. Before him stretched the blue marble that had defied the galaxy's greatest empire for 3 standard cycles. Earth hung in space like a stubborn jewel, its orbital defenses long since reduced to debris, its military fleets scattered to the void. "Status report," Zeftar clicked in his native tongue, mandibles shifting with satisfaction. "All 17 battle groups in position, Commander," his tactical officer reported. 8,000 vessels form a complete sphere around the planet. No human ship larger than a personal transport has escaped our net. The Hegemony had learned not to underestimate humans after their first contact 20 years ago. What began as a routine subjugation had turned into the longest war in galactic history. These bipedal mammals possessed an unsettling tendency to win battles they should have lost, to survive situations that would break any civilized species, and to display a creativity in warfare that bordered on madness. But now finally it was over. The human homeworld lay defenseless. "Begin orbital bombardment of military installations," Zeftar ordered. "Avoid population centers. We need workers for the mining colonies." The first salvo lit up Earth's atmosphere like a deadly aurora. Tactical displays showed the systematic destruction of the planet's remaining defense platforms. Zeftar's thorax swelled with pride. His name would be remembered as the one who finally brought the human plague to heel. That was when the proximity alarms began screaming. "Commander!" The sensor operator's voice cracked with disbelief. "Single contact bearing 0 Mark 7 approaching at..." "This can't be right." "Report!" Zeftar snapped. "1 human fighter craft, sir. Standard Mark 7 interceptor. It's on a direct collision course with our formation." Zeftar's compound eyes focused on the tactical display. A single red dot crawled toward his massive fleet like a dust mote approaching a hurricane. He almost laughed. Suicide run. Typical human irrationality. All vessels, target practice. Destroy it. But something nagged at his military instincts. In 20 years of fighting humans, he'd learned that when they did something that seemed stupid, it usually wasn't. "Sir," the sensor operator continued, voice trembling, "the craft is accelerating. Current velocity is 0.75 light speed and climbing. Impossible. No fighter has engines capable of 0.85 light speed, sir, 0.9. Commander, it's going to breach light speed." The bridge fell silent except for the hum of instruments. Every being present knew that was impossible. The fundamental laws of physics prevented any ship from achieving faster than light travel without entering hyperspace, and no one, not even the mad humans, would attempt an FTL jump inside a gravity well. 0.95 light speed, the operator whispered. 0.98, 0.99. On the main display, the red dot representing the human fighter began to pulse with an ominous light. Zeftar felt his blood chill as understanding dawned. "Emergency jump. All ships, emergency hyperspace jump now." But it was too late. Inside the cockpit of his modified interceptor, Lieutenant Marcus Chen watched his instruments with the calm focus of a man who had already made peace with his death. The fusion reactor behind him, jury-rigged with components salvaged from a dozen different alien technologies, screamed warnings that he ignored. His ship wasn't just approaching light speed, it was going to breach it in normal space. The physics professor said it was impossible. The engineers said it was suicide. Marcus had listened to their arguments, nodded respectfully, and then stolen the prototype anyway. "For Sarah," he whispered, thinking of his sister who died in the siege of New Geneva. "For all of them." His finger hovered over the final switch. Around him, space began to bend and twist as his velocity approached the cosmic speed limit. He could see the alien fleet ahead, thousands of vessels that had come to enslave his world. He pressed the switch. Reality screamed. Marcus Chen's fighter didn't just break the light barrier, it shattered it like glass. The ship became something else entirely, a point of impossible physics that carved through space-time itself. The exotic matter in his jury-rigged engine core collapsed into a brief, brilliant singularity that lasted exactly 0.03 seconds. But 0.03 seconds was enough. The gravitational wave that erupted from Chen's position rippled outward at the speed of light itself, a tsunami of distorted space-time that struck the Hegemony fleet like the fist of an angry god. Ships that had dominated the galaxy for millennia were swatted aside like leaves in a hurricane. Some simply vanished, translated into dimensions that had no names. Others found their hulls aged 1,000 years in an instant, crumbling to dust as their molecular bonds unraveled. Commander Zeftar had just enough time to see his mighty fleet dissolving around him before the wave hit his flagship. The last thing he experienced was the impossible sight of a single human fighter, blazing like a newborn star, punching a hole through the fabric of reality itself. On Earth, every sensor array recorded the same impossible data. In the space of 3 seconds, 8,000 alien warships had simply ceased to exist. Where the greatest fleet in galactic history had once floated, only empty space remained, marked by the slowly dissipating glow of exotic radiation. In the underground bunkers of Earth's command centers, military leaders stared at their displays in stunned silence. They had witnessed something that would take decades to understand and centuries to replicate. One man in one impossibly modified fighter had done what all their fleets and weapons could not. The war was over. The hegemony's spine was broken, and across the galaxy, every species that had ever looked down on humanity as primitive warmongers would learn a new truth. Never, ever, corner a human with nothing left to lose. In the vast silence of space where Marcus Chen had made his last stand, only cosmic radiation remained to mark the spot where a single pilot had saved his world. But Earth remembered. Earth would always remember. And in the years that followed, when the galaxy's children asked their elders about the terrible power of the human race, the answer was always the same. They're the species that turns physics into a weapon when you threaten their home.